All right, so I've been stewing on this video topic for about 2 weeks now, ever since the DSS has come out, and I didn't want to jump in and start making videos right away. I wanted to experience it in the flow of the game. And now, based on what I've seen and my experiences so far, I'm playing the game with the DSS reactivated and all the changes. I've come up with a pretty thorough list, in my opinion, of things that I like, don't like, things that I want to see changed, and all the things around that. But in order to understand my thought process around this, I want to go back and just go over a little bit of some of the controversy around it, the history of the DSS, if you will. And then I want to go over the changes that they have made to the DSS if you happen to miss them, or maybe you're just new and you didn't realize these things changed. But anyways, let's jump into that part. So essentially, the DSS was something that was 2 months in the making. They announced this thing, showed the blueprints, and we were starting to construct it, and there was like all these major orders around it, and it was a really big hyped thing because there was so much unknown about it, right? A lot of people were thinking that this was going to be a social space, the place where we could all go and hang out with other Helldivers and whatnot. Everybody was thinking that this is going to be a Death Star level thing that's going to be able to do all sorts of stuff for us. The theory world was going crazy about this for about 2 to 3 months. I think it was like 10 weeks total. But yeah, it was very, very, very hyped. And then when it released, it was kind of lackluster, right? It was very vague. There was nothing really explaining how things worked. I mean, we could go in, look at tooltips, you know, and see that this thing does this and this thing does that. But okay, well, how do these things work? You know, okay, well, this thing is going to help us liberate planets faster. How much faster? What's the percentages of that? How is it going to help us with our defense missions? And all sorts of other things, right? So the biggest discourse, of course, was the fact that we couldn't go to the thing. It's this massive space station. I want to go and see what is on this thing, or at least get a snapshot of it, and we can't go to it. So a lot of people were upset with that. That was strike one. Strike two was the vagueness of it, obviously, and the fact that we didn't really quite understand how it worked, and all the systems around it were kind of clunky, such as the voting system, and the fact that it was a 24-hour movement until it actually moved to another planet was very frustrating. And the fact that the actions didn't override each other or overlap in any way. And yeah, there was just a lot of clunkiness about it and vagueness that nobody liked. So that was strike two. And then strike three was the biggest one, in my opinion, was the planetary bombardments. Everybody liked the Eagle Storm. A lot of people thought it was a fun one because it provided some really unique opportunity to like make the planets, make the missions easier. I mean, the Eagle Storms made a lot of the encounters and jumping into any of the missions very easy, which was nice. And then the blockade was cool, but a lot of people still didn't understand how that worked, but that was pretty cool. But the one that people really hated the most was that planetary bombardment, because all it was endless shooting of 380 level shots onto the map in random areas. It was completely chaotic with team kill a lot. It was just very difficult to deal with because there was no pause. It was like literally you were in this insane like war situation, which was very cinematic, but at the same time, when you're trying to complete a mission, there's nothing more annoying than having to do everything you can to survive the bombardment that your own allies are throwing at you. It was as if you had the traitor barrage always active, and it was very annoying. So a lot of people hated that, and most people, when they saw this was active, they didn't go to those planets to steer clear away from them. So that's basically the minor details, is that there was a lot of clunkiness with it. People didn't like how it wasn't a social hub. People didn't like the planetary bombardment. So overall, the DSS was a very widely disliked thing. So shortly after the Illuminate drop, the Omens of Tyranny, the DSS went inactive so they could fix it. And essentially, this is what they ended up changing. So the first thing they did was they added a tutorial prompt. So that way, when you go into the DSS, or you see the DSS for the first time, or you log into the game for the first time, you get an explanation of what everything does, which is a step in the right direction, in my opinion. That way you can know what's going on. The movement timer was reduced from 24 hours to 4 hours, which is great. So that way it doesn't get stuck on a planet that's liberated already or in a weird situation. So that way when we vote for something, it's not, you know, there for too long, which is nice. The planetary bombardment was removed, which everybody praised and was very happy for, and in its place it was replaced with heavy ordnance. And then lastly, the voting was actually done a little bit better because you can actually vote to stay if you wanted to. And then also, like I mentioned before, because of the lower timer, you can actually vote for it to go somewhere more meaningful and whatnot. So they made some good changes to it overall. And jumping into the actions and in terms of the specifics they changed, so Eagle Storm stayed the same. Basically what that does is it deploys periodic Eagle airstrikes, which are basically Eagle precision strikes, on during a mission, and then slows the progress in defense campaigns. And then the orbital blockade basically stayed the same as well. The defense campaigns cannot originate from this planet, and the Hellpod space optimization booster is automatically active for all missions, which is a godsend because everybody wants this thing to be an automatically on thing all the time or be a ship upgrade. And this is the closest thing we're going to get to that, is having this active from the DSS, which is nice. And then, as I mentioned, the heavy ordnance is the newest thing. The heavy ordnance distribution is what it's actually called. And basically this gives us access to a 380 barrage stratagem during missions. And this accelerates progress of liberation. And we do actually know the percentage, even though it's not listed on the DSS thing, is 50% increased liberation. So overall with the DSS, we've had a little bit more clarity, and we've had some things that were addressed, meaning that planetary bombardment's gone, great. Heavy ordnance is in, great. DSS is much better overall, but in my opinion, it's only halfway better. There's still a lot of work to do to make this thing actually a viable tool for us to use in the state of affairs that we're dealing with the galaxy and whatnot. All right, so jumping in game, I wanted to go over the good real quick, just in a super short summary, because I've mentioned some of it before, but the actions I feel like are much more clear and then much more defined, which is nice. So we come over to the space station, essentially they're right here and they're clearly defined. And I feel like they're much more worth it, especially on the heavy ordnance front. And then also the fact that we get Hellpod from orbital blockade, that's very nice. And then the Eagle airstrikes from the Eagle Storm has just always been really good, which is very nice. Again, I'm glad the planetary bombardment is gone. That's a very good thing, and I was really happy to see that. And again, I really love the orbital blockade. I feel like it's great that we get Hellpod optimization. And honestly, I wish all three of these would give us some sort of benefits outside of just that as well. That'd be nice to get some sort of other booster included with those. And then the heavy ordnance with the 380 barrage is very good, like I mentioned before. And I'm glad that it does move faster, because right now, if you're looking at it, we're over Cirrus, I believe it's called. And then if you look at the votes right now, it's going to be going to Tarek, which is our defense campaign mission, in about an hour and 18 minutes. So that's nice that it's going to go over there and be able to support that mission. And then in that time frame, we should have the orbital blockade, which will give us pod optimization and whatnot to be able to help us with that defense mission. So that's nice that it actually moves a little bit faster. And then lastly, again, I'm glad that they gave us the vote to stay option, because right now, if we wanted to, we could vote it to stay on Cirrus. And I feel like most of the community in general, just as a side note, is voting more smartly, if you want to say it that, rather than just kind of voting randomly or for the highest one, or people are trolling or whatever, because I felt like it was going to planets it didn't need to go to. And right now, because it is on the bug side, I feel like it is getting voted to stay on the bug side more than anything right now. So that's essentially the good, is pretty much what I've already explained before. So starting off with the bad things that I don't like is that it does sometimes go to planets that are already liberated or almost liberated. And what happens is the DSS will be here, for example, like in this area of the galaxy, doing nothing. It's like, well, why the hell is it there? And it's going to be there for 3 hours. That's a waste. And then by the time it gets to the next Illuminate planet, specifically because the Illuminate, I felt like was the biggest issue, which was last week, it would go there toward the end of the offensive campaign. And then by the time it was done, the DSS was just sitting here, so it was very annoying. I guess the other factions I've noticed it stays better, in my opinion, because it takes us a little bit longer to take them overall. So that is one thing that I've noticed, which is nice. But yeah, it just happens to stay around liberated planets and just do nothing. I feel like it should automatically move from a liberated planet to a non-liberated planet that was next on the voting list. So in this example, if we send it to Tarek and then we liberate it, it doesn't stay there, it moves to Cirrus. So that way it's doing something instead of nothing. Another thing I've noticed with the Illuminate invasion specifically, and this may change when we get the full invasion force, is that let's just say, for example, we liberate Moog, right? And this is the only planet that's available for the Illuminates, right? It will go away, and then rather than us being able to vote for the next Illuminate planet, it doesn't appear in our voting list. So Moog will go away, and then instead we don't get a replacement option, or the next planet the Illuminate are invading doesn't pop up. There's like this massive delay that happens, and it feels like the server is not caught up to the current situation that's going on, which is very annoying. So for example, again, if this planet right here, Perish, gets active as an Illuminate invaded planet, and we just secured Moog, this planet won't pop up right away and just the other options around the galaxy will be available. So then the DSS will go over here when it really needed to go over here if the major order is saying to fight the Illuminates. So that's one thing that was annoying, is that the planets that were not available and became available on the galaxy map are not always available here for us to vote for right away. Sometimes will take quite a while into the movement cycle of the DSS, and then from that point everybody's voting the highest rated one. So there is some of that, but it's only really for the Illuminati specifically in this invasion force, so that's kind of niche and specific. In my opinion, it is still too slow. I know that 4 hours is not an egregious amount of time. It's pretty quick in the span of the game, you know what I mean, with how big the game is, with how many divers are on at any given time, so I understand that. But I feel like it should go faster. Maybe we should have a way to vote for it to move faster. I don't know if that makes sense, you know what I mean, because right now, okay, there's an hour and 14 minutes left, right? And I want to go to this defense mission, but I want to be where the DSS is, right? So it'd be nice if we could vote for it to go here faster, so that way I can go play matches on Tarek rather than having to play matches on Cirrus, just because I want the DSS to be involved. And I'm like, man, come on. I mean, can we get it there faster? Maybe it should take priority over on the defense or where the highest amount of Helldivers are. I don't know, but I feel like it still gets stuck on planets that I don't want to be on because I'm trying to stay with the major order stuff or go with the defense missions or something like that. Not like too bad, but again, it's just something that's kind of annoying, and I don't know the exact fix for that. So I think Cirrus is a great example of something that annoys me more than anything. You see a problem here? There are no actions right now. So we voted for it to come to this planet. I think Eagle Storm was the last activated thing. Yeah, it was the last activated thing. That's going to take 3 days to come back, and we still haven't gotten enough requisition points to activate Orbital Blockade or Orbital Ordnance or Heavy Ordnance, so we have nothing going on. The space station is literally just hovering here doing nothing. Now, I think it has some passive benefits that I'm personally not fully aware of, which is fine because they're not clearly explained here. I actually think it lowers the overall resistance of the enemies, if I'm not mistaken, so that's nice. But generally, I would like it to be doing something, have some sort of action going until the next action is available. And then one small thing that's annoying me, and it seems like that when this thing went offline and got reactivated, that Eagle Storm got some sort of changes that were hidden that we didn't know about, because now I feel like it team kills more than it did before. It has something to do with the Eagle Storms will pick a Helldiver at random, or maybe it rotates through all 4 Helldivers or however many Helldivers you have in your party, and it will do Eagle Storms near them, but it doesn't take into consideration that you have allies near you. So it will know where you are and be striking around you, but it won't know that you have an ally next to you, so he'll die, or they'll die to whatever Eagle Storm thing is going on. You have no control over it. It's just going to team kill a little bit more. So I've noticed that, and I'm not sure what the fix for that is. Maybe have it like strike a base or some sort of situation nearby, as opposed to striking anything around a particular situation. I don't know, but it's not something that's like rampant like the planetary bombardment was. But at the same time, I noticed that Eagle Storm does typically team kill at least once or twice in a dive when it's active, so that's something else that's been kind of annoying. All right, so the changes that I want to see to the DSS are as follows. We're going to start with the voting section. So I'm grateful for vote to stay, and I'm grateful it moves faster, but I want the ability to change my vote at least once. So if I decide that this is not the right way to go, if it's a lot closer in the future, I want to be able to change it from one to the other, depending on which direction feels like it goes best, because maybe things change, maybe the major order changes, but I hate how my vote gets locked in right away and I can't change it. So they got to give us some sort of way to change our votes at least one time. That'd be very nice. The next one is the biggest thing that I want to see changed, is I want to see the DSS follow the major order, meaning that, okay, this is a great example in my opinion. The DSS is on the bug side, our major order is on the bug side. We need to be holding this planet to the very end, which we've done. We've liberated it, we've fought a defense mission, so we got the planet, great. Now it's floating around planets nearby to help us liberate those or defend those, and vice versa. I like that. I think that this is what it should do all the time, but too often it will be over here when the major order is over here with the bugs, right? So it'll be on the bots, or it'll be in the Illuminates, and I don't quite understand why the DSS doesn't default to being near the major order. And I really think that the voting options shouldn't have anything that is unrelated to the major order, meaning that this random bot planet should not be on there, or this random Illuminate planet shouldn't be on there. It should only be bug missions that are nearby the major order, meaning that this is our major order right here, plus the sample thing, but we have to have this thing liberated or be under our control. So the DSS should be only able to go to these planets, and it should move of its own volition, meaning that if we conquer Cirrus, but there's still time left, it should go to Terek, and then that should be the new planet it's on, and have new actions and whatnot to help us liberate it. So that's one thing that I do like that it's already kind of doing right now, but it's not programmed to do that. It still has an option to kick it over to the bot side if we wanted to, or the Illuminate, which is very frustrating. So they need to be able to keep it like that, so that way it's staying with the major order, which in turn I think would make people more interested in the major order as a side effect, because rather than being here fighting things that we don't need to fight, which it's fine that we do have people doing that, they may say, well, I want to be with the DSS, and the DSS with the major order, so I'm going to go fight the bugs. That'd be an added side effect as well. I've actually mentioned it a couple times, but I do think that the timer is still too long, even at 4 hours. And I think that there should be more automated things with the DSS, and it should kind of move of its own volition. More kind of like I mentioned before, essentially, as an example, let's say we need to defend 5 planets here from a bug encounter, right? And we're going to go through and we're going to pick and say, okay, well, we want it to be here. So, but then this one is lagging behind. Well, the DSS can go fly to Eartha Prime, right? And help raise it up. So that way it kind of meets it up. And that way we're kind of keeping this give and take thing, meaning the DSS is kind of helping us move where we want it to. We could vote for it. Maybe it just moves on its own. I don't know. I just wish I wish it moved more to where we need it the most. Like right here is fine in my opinion, but again, we're trying to defend this planet, so I wish we could move it there faster. So yeah, I just wish it moved faster overall. And the thing we run into also is if it lingers in an area too long, the planet can get liberated, like I mentioned before, and then it's lingering in a space area where it doesn't need to be, and it's doing nothing. So I think a lot of that would help if it moved of its own volition and had a little bit of a faster cooldown also. So the actions, in my opinion, never should expire. I think that we should always have some sort of action going on. And in my opinion, what would be even better is, let's say we have 24 hours of Eagle Storm, right? And we get, within 18 hours of that, we get our orbital blockade. They should overlap, so that way we have 2 actions going on. And then if we get heavy ordnance in the same time frame, then we can have 3 actions going on. So basically what I think it should be is, like, if we fill out these resource things, then they should be able to overlap. I feel like that they've purposely made this thing not work in the sense that they don't want 2 actions going on. Maybe it's a game server side thing that would overload the game if we had too many things going on. I totally understand that. But I feel like these actions should overlap. We should not have any, we should never have no actions, and we should have actions overlapping to be able to give us more incentive to donate all of our resources, because it's nice to be able to have somewhere to dump our extra samples and our requisition slips. But I'm like, okay, I'm only gonna do one at a time, because only one action can be done at a time, and most people are gonna blow their load for freaking Eagle Storm first and then pick the other 2 whenever, you know. So that's, I don't know, I just really want something going all the time, and I want some overlap between the actions. That'd be very nice. Sticking with the actions, I do feel like there's room for more actions. I know that Arrowhead is working on more, such as, like, I know there's this commando thing or something where you can call down some soldiers or something like that. That's a rumor. I'm not sure all the details around that. I haven't looked into it because I don't look into a lot of spoilers, but I know that something like that is coming, whether it's a stratagem or part of the DSS. And then also I've heard hints of there being some sort of laser, which would be pretty cool. But speaking, just kind of sticking to that, I wish it was like some sort of like orbitals thing, like a laser, or some sort of sentry support, meaning that, like, okay, well, randomly sentries will be dropped in the vicinity of where you are to be able to help assist you, like machine gun sentries or rocket sentries that come from the DSS. That'd be pretty cool. It'd be cool if we had like a Death Star type laser that we can call in as a team. I think that would be really cool. So that way, you know how we have the SEAF things we can call in, like the SEAF artillery, like on the map. It'd be cool if we had a team one that gave us a team laser that we could call in. It's like a bigger laser that can affect the battlefield to be able to kill, and we can use it whenever we want as a team. That would be really, really cool in my opinion. So I don't know, just like with that in mind, it'd be really cool with pairing with the overlap thing to have like more actions to be able to choose from, to be able to pair together, to be able to mix it up and add different unique play styles to the map based on whether it's a defense mission, whether it's a liberate mission, or whether it's whatever. Like, I would like to have more actions that make sense, that can overlap with each other, and maybe we put like a limit on it, like 2. That'd be fine. I don't know, just something to be able to give us more things to be able to choose from would be great. So another thing that I would like to see is I really do like how the heavy ordnance gives us access to the 380 barrage. I think that's great. But what I would like to see is I would like to see one of the actions, if they do make one, be able to give us an extra stratagem slot in general to be able to choose what we want. Meaning maybe that's what our super samples can go to, is that we will take the super samples and then we can donate those, and then when we unlock the thing, we can actually get a free 5th stratagem slot of our own choosing for each Helldiver. That would be really cool in my opinion, so that way we can all have a 5th stratagem when we're assaulting this planet with the DSS above. I think that would be absolutely goated in my opinion. I would absolutely love that, and I think that'd be a really good use of donating super samples in my opinion. I mentioned that it'd be cool if they had an action that drops sentries on the map or something along those lines. I think that'd be pretty cool, but it'd be equally cool if they had an action that had mechs or vehicles spawn on the map whenever we were going into an encounter, meaning that like in the urban environments, how we have the vehicles, it'd be cool if like there were random emancipator exosuits or something like that on the map for us to be able to use between our Helldivers, maybe like 1 or 2 of them just scattered throughout the map. We can go jump in those and be able to use those in our encounter. I think that would be very, very cool. Same thing with vehicles, meaning that we have some sort of vehicles on the map for us to be able to get into and use, so that way we can have something to get around the map a little bit faster, or we can be able to have the mechs to be able to destroy things a little bit faster. So I think that'd be really cool as an action as well. I think it'd be cool if they had an upgrade for the Eagle Storm, or maybe even another action that is actually going to give us the Eagle Airstrike, because they say Eagle Airstrike in here, which I think is funny. When it's not the Eagle Airstrikes, it's actually the Eagle Precision Strike. So it'd be nice if we had one that was going the other way. We already have the Precision Strike that's going to be able to do a lot of damage, but it'd be cool to have random Eagle Airstrikes. That might get a little bit too chaotic, but I think that'd be pretty cool as well. And then lastly, this is a big pie in the sky, and I seriously doubt this is ever going to happen, but I just want to throw it out there, is I really did like the idea of us being able to go on here and maybe even not necessarily spend time with other Helldivers, but let's just say we're on here like our ship. We're able to go on there, see the other ships docked, and, you know, be able to, like, I don't know, just experience a larger area for us to hang out in. I think that'd be cool. Or maybe invite some of our other friends on and we can all hang out on the DSS for a little bit. I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't think an actual social space would work for this game, but maybe like how it is now, where we can, you know, start a mission or maybe even launch our missions from the DSS. I think that'd be really freaking cool. Is maybe when we go into an area that has a DSS above, our ships actually go to the DSS. We land our main ships on there, and then basically instead of us operating out of our main ship here, we're actually operating from a command center from the DSS, and we can actually have our friends join us there, and that way we have a much larger area, and maybe there are specific ship upgrades for that particular DSS command center, meaning that, okay, we can actually have a think for our resources as well. So yeah, we have our ship modules, but then we have our DSS modules. You know what I mean? Meaning that we can actually have things that are unique to the DSS that we can actually benefit from. That'd be really cool as well, to get like a second kind of command place. But again, like, I don't know if that's ever going to be something that can be done, but I think it'd be really cool to give us some more utility out of the DSS in terms of when we come into the same solar system. And I think, again, that would inspire more people to follow the DSS more. Especially if major orders are going on and it's following the major orders. I think all of it would tie together very well. All right, so this is a bit of a longer video, but I wanted to get these thoughts out because they've been burning in me to talk about with the DSS, because again, I like the DSS. I think it looks cool. It's big, it's badass, it's really nice, and I think it has a lot of potential, but I think we're about halfway to its true potential. Obviously, they're going to add more actions. Obviously, they're going to change it over time, so we'll see what they decide to do, but I really hope that they kind of take some of these suggestions that I made, because I think a lot of them would be pretty good. But anyways, guys, what are your suggestions for the DSS, and what has been stewing in your mind about the DSS, and what do you not like about it? What do you like about it? What are your changes you want to make? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.